Rupert Murdoch, demon of society. Talk about somebody who has hurt the planet on which he exists to a degree that can almost not be measured. Billionaire, wrecked Australia with his media ownership, America with Fox News and owning all kinds of other media properties. England, he's a big tabloid guy, owns like tons and tons and tons of stuff. One of the world's worst humans, up there, probably worse than Mitch McConnell, to be honest, to reference last week or last episode. It's just absolutely horrible that we allow this kind of power to exist in the hands of one person. Media as an industry is it's not the same as producing widgets or providing carpet cleaning services or something like that. There can certainly be monopolization issues with any industry, but hold on, I gotta turn off this majority report shit. It's starting to move. Okay. But media especially requires, as King Tom Hartman used to say, maybe he still does, it's the only industry mentioned in the Constitution. It's the fourth estate. It's what's needed. Media and education are the two industries I would suggest, and I don't even like calling education an industry. That's gross. But in a democracy, the nutrient for healthy democracy is information and access to information and the ability to process, to retain, process, and communicate information. And so those two information sources and all those things source from media and education. You know, how knowledge is disseminated, what photons, who's in charge of the photons and the sound waves that enter your photon and sound wave detectors. So it's absolutely terrible. And among the villains of the story is Bill Clinton for passing the 1996 Telecommunications Act to concentrate media ownership. But that's not the only instance. But allowing media consolidation into the hands of the very few is simply swelling up the power of billionaires. And Rupert Murdoch is by easily among the worst of these. So his absence or his exit will be good for the world, except of course he's got a legacy that's going to carry on for a long time. So here's Owen Jones laying it out. Hit him, Owen.
How do you think Rupert Murdoch's going to be remembered?
Well, Rupert Murdoch is the most poisonous individual of my lifetime. 20 years ago, just as an example, on the road to war in Iraq, Rupert Murdoch owns 175 newspapers all around the world, and all 175 newspapers backed the Iraq war. They softened up public opinion for what was a calamity which took the lives of hundreds of thousands of people and unleashed terrible blood and chaos. And why do I mention that? Because it shows that the idea that we have this free press with all these newspaper outlets and media outlets around full of rigorous journalism, coincidentally, all backed this catastrophic war. Many other examples, though, in the 1980s, when the bodies of hundreds of thousands of gay men were being ravaged by AIDS all over the world, his newspapers whipped up the most vile bigotry against gay men. If you think about the United States, we mentioned Fox News, their peddling of conspiratorial nonsense about the Obama administration, the Islamophobia, that paved the way for Donald Trump, who he spoke to every single week when he was president. Or if you think about the climate emergency, spreading climate denialism about what is an existential threat to human civilization, his attacks on migrants, refugees.
So you're a big fan then, right?
Huge fan. But I think it's really important we say this because this isn't just some media owner. This guy is a politician. He's a very, very powerful political figure who has, without being elected by a single person, had a huge disruptive and pernicious and poisonous impact in our democracy, Australian democracy, US democracy, and democracies all over the world.
But shareholder value. It's more than just shareholder value with that guy, though. It's the old story of our civilization, Western democracies, privileging psychopaths, people with the worst impulses. And those things maybe you can never really get rid of, I think, in a much healthier society where there's multiple generations, where there's compounding effects of safe childhoods that we would achieve, that we can achieve, which we completely refuse to not achieve. You'd end up with, I mean, that's a simplification of the world I would design, obviously, but my core politics is that the parenting should be easy. We should make it so that parenting is, the purpose of an economy should be to make parenting as easy as possible. That's it. We should have, because that's how you produce fewer assholes. and fewer deranged people. And that's how you produce low-stress childhoods, which is how you... The low-stress childhood is the missing nutrient we need for human flourishing. Because then people who can... Whatever. Okay. All right. You know what I'm saying. I'm sure you get it. Because then you don't have to overcome it in order to accomplish anything in your life like so many of us do. Or never overcome it because you still have all these ripples of the long shadow of your childhood trauma, because that's when your brain is being wired. That's when your soul is being cured, like the acrylic material, like varnish. cured. Like it's one of those words. I like that word a lot. Like how glue cures, it hardens. But also it's cure. Like it's got multiple definitions, so it's a little problematic. All right, well, that's some good commentary, Hank. You dumb fucking idiot.